Welcome to the Let's Talk About Life podcast, where we talk about things that people don't talk about in life. Today, we're going to talk about self-confidence and how to achieve it. What is it, and what can we do with it?
Yeah, so basically, in essence, we pulled up a very simple meaning, the definition of self-confidence, right? People, think of self-confidence in terms of just certainty, right?
Yeah.
Or they feel they can make a decision on something and they have full 100% certainty it's going to happen. Or it could be mistaken for, right? Someone has pride. They go, yeah, I know all this stuff. I have the experience. I'm confident.
Yeah.
But the definition of the psychological, in the dictionary of psychology, says self-confidence is an individual's trust in his or her own abilities, capacities, and judgments, or belief that he or she can successfully face day-to-day challenges and demands.
When I look at self-confidence, I have to look at all of it. And the way that I put it together is I separated in. There's global, right?
Yeah.
Then there's contextual and situational. They even do this in research where you kind of separate, because one thing can be true in a different realm and it can be false in the other, right? So if I have global self-confidence, then that means that I believe in my capabilities in general, right?
Okay.
In any type of circumstance, I'll figure it out. It's kind of like a person who knows how to learn. Right.
Yeah.
If I know how to learn, and I say that when I was born without any talent except the talent to gather talent.
Yeah.
So I have the confidence that I know that if I put time to it, then I'll be able to do it. That's more of a global perspective. Contextual, it's depending on the context.
Exactly.
Situational, it's like down to the very specific situation. I'm confident in my people skills with this relationship. I feel that the higher up you go, the more confident you are as a person. Because I know people that are extremely confident with their ability to budget and manage finances, but at the same time are horrible when it comes to their health and wellness.
Yeah,
Or even people
that's
skills
true.
too.
Right?
And so,
Yeah.
Confidence as well, it has a lot to do with past experiences. So how did you do in your past experiences? And I think that if generally you didn't do that well in social environments or your professional environments, you're not necessarily going to have the confidence. You really have to work harder than somebody who was popular in high school or somebody who accomplished a lot of things professionally. In my opinion, I think they have a lot more confidence than somebody who doesn't. But it's like, I think for someone like that didn't have good past experiences, because I certainly did not, I really just had to accept what happened, and I had to say to myself, that's all in the past.
Right.
I really think self-confidence, the biggest thing is when people are in the shower and they start thinking of conversations they had, and they start thinking of like, oh, I could have said this.
Absolutely.
I could have said that. You know what I mean?
It's so real, man.
Yeah. So it's like that it's a huge detrimental thing to your self-confidence, because you're like, well, I should have said this. I should have said that. So when you start adopting this consciousness, you start saying those things in the moment, and then it gets the ball rolling on your self-confidence, where you're like, okay, well, I already said it. Exactly. So then I don't have to think about it in the shower.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a difficult thing because there's a shadow side to self-confidence and also, self-esteem and everything like that. But you can even look at the high school thing, right? Somebody who is very self-confident in high school, they begin to believe that life is easy, and unconsciously that works against them to a certain extent.
Yeah, totally.
So I feel like, here's an example. I thought I hated math, right? And my school was so
I still
dirty.
hate it.
This is so dirty. But they would separate. They have you take a test, and they separate you into two groups: the math majors and the math minors.
Oh
now
my
think about
God.
the psychological effect of that, right?
Man.
So I was put in math minors, and immediately that's where the core belief of I suck at math, 100%. You give me a receipt or something like this, and I got to check it out, or hey, we're gonna figure out who owes what.
Yeah.
My mind would immediately say that I suck at math. But then when I was in high school, one of my teacher was an incredible math teacher and made it fun. And when they made it fun,
That's huge.
I was killing it at math.
That's huge.
So my question was, after all these times that anybody would just say any type of math problem, they could be like 1 + 1 = 2. My mind would be like, you suck at math, don't even try it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I suck at math, I hate math. And that was to protect myself. But because I was able to experience myself succeed, gave me the confidence, right?
Totally.
So if it was 1 + 1, I would still be like, my mind would shut down. But then as time got better and he made it a game, and this ties why my whole research on intrinsic motivation is when I believe that I'm capable, then I'll attempt. And they say there's kind of 3 human needs that we all have in psychology, like in self-determination theory. It says that one is the ability to be autonomous. I want to have the freedom to choose.
Wow.
Right? Then the next one is I want to be competent. If
Yeah.
I feel stupid, I don't want to do it. Somebody asked me a math question. I'm like, I suck at math. I don't like math.
Yeah.
Somehow trying to regain power over my weakness. And the other one is relatedness, being connected to something that's bigger than yourself. And I kind of achieved almost all of those because the way that they taught us in that math class was we had the freedom to come to the answer however we did. It wasn't so much check your work. It gave us that freedom and autonomy. At the same time, I felt competent because they believed that we could get it. And then at the same time, I was in a group of people that were having fun. So it was all of us working together to get this math problem. We're doing it on the board, trying to figure it out. So that type of power really put me in a space where I gained confidence, and ties to what you talked about belief and experiencing. So I experienced myself be successful, and then I got the confidence. The importance of handing off confidence is so, it doesn't matter if you have just one good teacher sometimes. It's being able to teach people how to build confidence and having that kind of structured in a way that people can
Yeah, because when you're a
grow it.
kid, you don't know. Like, you've been handed off this amazing experience, and then you go back to school, you go, wait, well, I guess it was a one-shot wonder.
That was it.
Yeah.
And that was it.
100%.
Kind of tying into that, I really think in order to achieve self-confidence, you really need to, kind of like what you said, find it within, because people are not going to tell you what you're good at. I mean, majority of the time, I don't think people tell you good things about yourself. The importance of that is because, say you go into a class and the teacher tells you suck at math or puts you in a math minor. You need to have the strength to tell yourself that you're good at math. It's all in the thought process. Dude, self-confidence, like, you got to tell yourself that stuff. You can't expect other people to tell you, because if you do, you're going to be screwed your whole life. Like 8th grade, you have a teacher telling you you're good at math. 9th grade, you have a teacher telling you suck at math.
Right.
And the whole schooling thing is so bizarre to me, because it's like teachers have a huge influence on kids. So it's like, I go to school and all my teachers tell me I'm stupid, I'm a failure. I'm going to end up believing it.
Yeah.
You end up believing it, and it affects you the whole life. Right. So imagine just 1 year affecting 50, 60 years going into it. It's like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really think we should, I think the schooling system should teach it from way the beginning, maybe around like 3rd or 4th grade when kids start actually thinking.
We tried that through the self-esteem, you know what I mean? That whole, get a medallion for everything, the whole millennial issue that everybody's talking about, where you win an award for getting first place and for getting last place. And it gives these people this entitled perspective, right? So I think it was a Band-Aid version of building self-esteem.
Oh, geez,
right?
yeah.
And so what happened is people are getting these kind of, hey, you're getting a reward for absolutely anything. For just showing up, you get a reward. And it teaches people to start to begin to believe that they should get a reward for showing up.
Oh, man.
Right? Where it flipped the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I
should
agree.
be incentivized for everything I do.
Well, at the same time, and so the difference between kind of that reward, that's external motivators, is to be able to pull up some type of intrinsic or internal motivation. Internal motivation means you teach people. It's when you're motivated because you care about it. It's important to you, and it should be taught at that
young
grade.
age.
Absolutely, the young age, because the children are absorbing reality. They're taking experience and making it their reality, right? So it's important to be able to give them something that creates a reality that allows them to create the world that they want. But most of the time it doesn't happen, because all a teacher needs to do is make sure that you learn A, B, and C and pass the test.
That's it. That's how she gets paid.
It's so complex, man.
Yeah,
I had a client when I first really started realizing this is what I want to do. I had a client, I was actually a personal trainer, and I was looking at him lift the weights, and he just could not lift 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And he was quiet. He never would talk. So anyways, time goes by, and then he's like, hey, I got a girlfriend. More time goes by. He's starting to get more confident. His personality's coming out like a whole different person, right? And then he's like, getting engaged. So we're at the wedding rehearsal, and he's giving his gifts out to all his groomsmen. And I'm sitting down, and he's looking at me. And he's standing taller than me, which I love. It's that inversion, right?
Yeah.
I was the one helping him, and I'm like, da-da-da. And then it flipped, and I get to sit down. And he's looking at me, he has tears in his eyes, and he goes, if it wasn't for you,
Wow.
I wouldn't have believed I could have got a girl like her. And so what I saw through his transformation, and that's what it was him become a new person. The question I asked was, who were you really?
Yeah.
Who were you really?
Yeah.
Were you just the quiet person? Or were you this person always, but life stopped it, closed it? And so my job is, how do you open it up so you can see what you really are capable of. Because the reason that most of us don't speak, don't raise our hand, don't step out is because we know the pain that we experienced as kids, the core beliefs that we have of who we are and what we're afraid of becoming. But if you can get them to just for a second, like
For 1 second.
doubt.
That's
Like, just all I want you to do is doubt your doubt. Doubt your self-doubt for a moment. They just get a second where they can just breathe themselves in,
Yeah.
right? And that's where that magic is how do you get them to open up? And I think what you said was so, like, spot on. It was another person.
Yeah.
And I really believe that the community that you surround yourself with, and we get caught up living in communities reactionary. This is the school I was put in. This is the family I got.
Oh, yeah.
This is this. But if we don't go out and seek the community, or ourselves who have community, create the community and bring people into it, then nothing happens.
Wow.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, that's completely true. It's like the community will help you push that. But I think the difficult thing now is, what if you don't have community, one? And two, what if the person cannot change? So I have a couple answers to that. The first thing is, first, if you don't have community, or you don't have somebody supporting you, just try as many things as you can.
Right.
Find what you're good at. When you're good at something, that raises your self-confidence, because you know you're good at something. Because usually people that are drowning in self-pity, they're like, I'm not good at anything.
Right.
But so when you try as many things as you can and you accomplish one thing, or you're good at one thing, then you're just like, oh, I'm good at this. I make people laugh, or I'm good at computers. I'm good at this and that. I'm passionate about this. So when you find that passion, you're just like, you actually end up finding a purpose.
Right.
So I think that they go hand in hand. It's like, with people who drown in self-pity, they don't feel like they have a purpose. So they're just living life as it is. And kind of like what you said about, community, it's like, dude, the people you surround yourself with is huge. It's a huge part. Yeah. If you surround with people who just complain all the time, well, you're just going to have that mindset.
Right.
And it's just going to eat at you every day what they say. Well, they say, oh, life sucks. Then you're just like, you kind of sit there. If you hear it enough times, you're going to be like, he's kind of right.
See, be careful what you're listening to, because you see Bradley Cooper. You saw him at this high status. Now you see him in the slums. That could negatively impact you without even realizing it.
Yeah.
So be careful what the conditioned mind you're listening to.
Oh, yeah.
Be aware and make sure that when you meet someone, you talk to someone, you look the best at the person. Avoid any type of negative connotation. Exude the energy of love and exude the energy of positivity.
Right.
Just because. Look at the person, see what the best thing about them is. If their aspiration is to become a successful business owner, if their aspiration is to become a motivational speaker, or an aspiration to become someone good in trading, whatever it is, exercising, you look at them and you say, hey, you're looking good. Have you been working out?
Yeah.
That positive reinforcement passes that confidence.
Oh, yes.
It gives them that energy. It passes through. And when he was telling me that, Ali, you know what? I see you, doing the modeling thing or the acting thing or the podcast thing. Like, I can see you doing it.
Yeah, you're working.
Keep it up. And based on that conversation, it affected me so much. It gave me the belief.
Right.
It gave me the confidence. It gave me the courage to stand up, because he told me, I believe in you. So just that community and having that, if you don't see that community doing it, you do it. If you don't see anyone taking part and giving that reinforcement to other people, you do it. Pass that energy, that love.
Yeah.
And it made such an impact to me. I'm even talking about it right now.
And these they jump onto each other in a cool way. There's Abraham Lincoln. He said, I am what I am today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the gall to let him down.
Wow.
Right? Something along that. And so what I loved about that is that you kind of had to raise up to the expectations of people. It says that there's Les Brown, he had this quote, look at a man the way he is, he only becomes worse. Look at a man as if he were who he could be, then he'll become who he should be, right? Look at a man the way he is and he only becomes worse, right? If you just face value, oh, I see that about that person, and there it is. They only become worse. Because you hold them in neutral.
Yes.
And neutral is them. Over time, they'll go down. Because there's no true neutral in humanity. We're always moving up or down. But look at a person as if they were who they could be, they'll become who they should be. And I had this crazy story with a friend of mine I was working with, and we were just talking, and I told him he wanted to have his own business. He wanted to start his own business. And I looked at him and I'm like, you're going to have a business in the next year. Like, it's done.
Wow.
Like, let me be the first to congratulate you.
Wow.
I say that, like, let me be the first. And when I say it like I'm coming back from the future. Like, that's how like real it is with me.
I love it.
So it's funny. I forgot about the conversation. Yeah. 7-8 months go by. He reaches out to me and he's like, hey, I want to do some coaching. And I'm like, what brought this into your your mind? And he goes, you don't know, but we had a conversation a while ago and you spoke to me about having my own business and I literally believed you. Wow. How crazy. He believed me about
That's-
him. That's some weird
That's
type of that's some weird
insane.
type of faith. So he's like, I believe you and your belief in me more than my own belief in me. And he said, I literally started my own thing, dude. And that's the
huge.
power of just being able to just pull in from other people, finding people that believe what
Yes.
you believe. And there was something that you brought up where you were talking about surrounding yourself with people that are positive, right? And if you're around people that are negative all the time, you start to become negative. There is within negativity an inverted confidence.
Explain
Because
that.
if I say that things suck and someone says that they don't, then I feel like they made a statement that I'm wrong.
Ooh, this is a huge
Right?
yes.
Right? So it's almost I am confident in my lack of confidence or lack of luck.
Yes.
And so at a very deep subconscious level, we start to believe that whatever sucks in our life is it's like somebody, I had a bad day, like you had a bad day. But that's the thing, because a lot of times what happens is the people that are stuck in these negative vortices are they're feeding they're feeding on it. It gives them something. There's some type of confidence in the belief or lack of belief, or their belief in their lack of belief. And so it works. There's always an aversion to everything, man. It's really crazy.
And adding on to that,
Yeah.
dude, you're completely right. When somebody says that no, it doesn't. When you say life sucks and they say no, it doesn't, it literally makes them, just like you said, it makes them believe what they think even more. It's like, it's so crazy how
They
it has
start
the
finding
total
evidence,
opposite
yeah.
effect.
But you get them to first believe that belief is not the only reality.
Yeah.
It's exposure therapy almost. When you just get a person to believe that there's a potential other reality that exists, then you have the ability to change, because that's when 1 becomes 2, and 2 equals freedom. It's the first level of freedom. And I've seen it where people in a month or 2 months, I'm like, how has your thinking been? They're like, it's never been better. And it's crazy because for 30, 40, 20 years, they've been thinking a certain way. And it's not like a flip of the wrist. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like
It takes a
it's
long
not-
time. Yeah.
But it takes a long time, but it takes them understanding. Because the problem is with these gurus, and it just drives me nuts a lot of times, it's that they're trying to change a person. I'm going to change you. They have to change themselves. And the only way that they can change themselves is if you guide them and then ask a question. Because if you tell them anything, then it's your confidence.
Correct.
yeah.
And that can only go so far.
Wow.
Dude, that was powerful.
That was straight.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
I
That
took
was
that because
delivered.
I am literally going, not me personally,
Uh-huh.
but I know somebody who's going through that. So it's like when you say things like what you just said, it's like it just clicks in my head because I'm literally going through that right now.
Right.
I'm struggling with trying to get somebody to be confident, but it's like, dude, it's so difficult.
You can't. Okay. The story.
It
Go ahead.
is,
knock
though.
it out.
It is though, and for some people, it's the way it is, man. It's
Yeah.
what's part of being human, the human emotion. Hey, some people have the ability to just be confident. Some people just know they have they have the power, the strength, the looks, the stature. They
Yeah.
have the social conditions that give them the ability to say, "I am confident." Under the surface,
Yeah.
but in reality, is that really confidence?
It's exactly. It gives them the confidence to move through the world, which is
Yes.
different from being confident.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So a lot of people, just because, okay, I'm good looking, I'm in shape, and the world is thrown, and I can move through the world with confidence, but I don't have purpose. I'm not confident
Yeah.
in that. I don't have clarity. I don't have confidence in that. So what happens is having the ability to be confident or cocky, and this is where we have to kind of like mince words, right? Yeah, you can be confident, but where's your esteem at, right? How is your ego weak, right? And do you have to create circumstance in order to believe in yourself? Because there's external confidence and there's just like you're saying internal confidence. But the thing is important is that we have to work at the people's internal confidence. When I was training people, I would train a person, they'd get in shape, and then they become a womanizer. You know what I mean? Like, this is not what I came here to do. I have to when they're changing. Their ego has been harmed as children. As they're changing, they want to feed that deficit with their new self, right? And you can do that whether it's psychological or physical. So the thing is, you have to, as you're empowering them, before they flip the ego in a reverse, you have to catch them and then get them to look at maybe there's a better way to exist. And what happens is when they get the 6-pack, whether that's mental or physical, they don't need it as much. They don't need the money as much. They don't need the guy or the girl as much, the marriage. They don't need the abs as much. It doesn't become as important. So my goal is to get people to not need what they thought they need, but take advantage of the need so that they at least start to get it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I strongly agree with that. And I think adding on to it, kind of like what you said, it's like confidence is all about perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how do you see this newfound person? I mean, and it's very just like you said, it's very easy for them to flip. Like just boop. What I do to not flip myself over,
Right.
because I want to be very careful for that not to happen, because that can very well happen, and I understand that. What I do is I surround myself with people who are better, quote unquote better,
Yeah,
but
high frequency.
because it's like, if I surround myself with people that are lower frequencies than I am, then I'm going to always see myself as the bigger fish. Once I surround myself, and it's very scary to surround yourself with people who are at higher frequencies, because it's like, I don't really want to. Like, there's that little fear of like, I don't want to really.
Yeah, why?
Because it's a very good feeling to surround yourself with people who are at lower frequencies. It's like, it's the best feeling.
Some real
I would,
talk.
I would,
Yeah.
I would say it's interesting perspective, because I would say for me, I thrive to be around people that are
Yeah.
smarter than me.
awesome.
I
Well,
love it because
I love
Yes,
both of these.
it's
the
different.
Reason why,
Yeah.
The reason why is because when that person is in that frequency, I'm in that energy. I'm in that environment. The conversations are going to be more in depth. They're going to be so much more powerful, impacting, that I'm going to take every single thing from that conversation and
Yes.
implement it in my life. Versus hanging out with someone that I can feel the negative energy, feel the lack of ambition,
And you don't
that
learn-
will affect me.
Yeah, and you don't learn anything
Exactly.
from them.
That will affect me. So I try to. It's the opposite for me. I look for people who are intellectuals, who are philosophical, who have degrees or doctors, engineers,
Yeah.
CEOs. I want to be around those people.
I think, but it's so interesting because what we're looking at is two different things, right? When you go up to the higher frequency, you take, right? You gather. When you're with the lower frequency, you give. Even though we're kind of feeding a little bit of the ego, this is why I believe like on this planet, ego serves some purpose. You know what I mean? Like it's okay if that's how it starts. The goal is as time goes by, we want to continue to evolve. Right? So
Yes.
if I'm trying to make an impact because it makes me feel good about myself, then all of a sudden it starts to make me realize that they're feeling good about myself. And then I realize that it's actually this kind of flow that's happening.
Yeah.
And then I realize that it's just living. That's like that evolution that happens. But you
Yes.
just get in where you fit in, right? You know what I mean?
That's
But
right.
you have to commit to continue to grow.
Yeah.
So anytime a new truth is revealed, you pick it up, right? Because as soon as you don't pick it up, then you've chosen a lie. Because
Yes.
your awareness is your barometer. So I just think that it's amazing that you have that. And I have both of them in me. I think I've kind of moved more to a point where, to be honest, actually, I would say I'm actually stuck in the middle.
Explain that.
This is kind of cool.
That's interesting.
I need to surround myself with more mentors. And when I say surround myself, I need to be bugging the hell out of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I see
saying?
what you're saying.
And so what I've realized is that I have my own internal experience, right? And my mentor is this internal guide that I've had, and the people that I've picked along the ways that have dropped jewels that I've flown with, I've shot up with, right? But as I'm moving into this new echelon, this new frequency, this new energy, I need to start to bug people and do it in a way that's like human, where I'm not like, buy my courses,
let me be your life coach.
Exactly. Right?
Here's the book we just published.
Right, exactly.
You'll get it for free today.
Right.
BurkBrown.com.
Here's my funnel. But I'm okay with all of those.
Yes.
But those are not my mean. That's not the number one thing. That's not what I'm about.
What is your number one thing?
My number one thing is being human. I envision a world where boundless imagination and creativity is applied to life itself, where the very art of living is mastered and evolved as each individual is empowered to express their unique greatness in the world. I'm already there. It's happening now. I'm doing it.
Wow.
Right? I'm clear. That's
He's
what
living it.
So what happens is, since I'm clear on that, whatever mode or avenue achieves it, which includes music, videos.
Do you imagine
Dancing?
Burkay as a rapper?
Bro, I was in a group.
Bro, man.
Fubu?
News team.
Yeah,
News
dude.
team, man.
You'd be surprised, man. This
Hey,
guy
I
does
gotta-
so
I
much
gotta
stuff,
listen to
bro.
this stuff.
Dude,
I want to listen to
I
this
mean,
stuff.
like,
don't
it's-
even
yeah.
know, bro.
I'm not a rapper, but I put some stuff together. Caveat emptor means buyer beware, which means don't be buying the lies that they selling you here. And if you lose your ego, then the vision becomes less obscure. If not, then you a fool. I know that much for sure. I breaking quick while I close my eyes. I got faith as my vision and lyrics as my disguise. The sword, it is a flame that burns deep in my mind. The pressure in my brain is released with every slice. But let me first say that I cannot be without I plus I plus I, which equals we. We the stone pillars, we the throne stealers who stand in 3D but see with one vision.